Welcome, everyone. It is July 29th, episode 7 of Elevation. I am the owner of the World Domination Wrestling Alliance. I'm Mr. Gavin Jackson. I'm here with my man, my co-host, Mr. Hardcore Hoss. Hardcore Hoss, how are you doing, brother?
Hey, I am doing good. Excited to be here. Another great episode on tap for you folks. And just want to thank each and every one of you that tune in. You know, we love you guys and just looking forwards to it, Gavin. And welcome back. We missed you last show, but Donnie did a heck of a job filling in for you. It was fun. And hope you enjoyed yourself out for the night.
Yeah, man. So, I appreciate Donnie Diablo stepping in. I was out celebrating my anniversary with my lovely wife. This probably won't be the first time he'd step in. What's going on, David? How you doing, brother? But yeah, man, thanks guys for holding down the fort. Thank you guys for kicking ass like you guys always do. So, hey, Tammy girl, how you doing? But episode 7, man, we just keep growing and growing and growing. Hoss, you want to let everybody know who our guest is tonight?
Man, tonight we have on tap the Sigma males. I mean, if you guys were on hand, you heard what Steven had to say this past Saturday night, and now the Sigma males back together again, and we got them here tonight, and we are just going to find out more about the Sigma males and what's been going on, where LDJ has been since everything happened, with Steven getting hurt and coming over. And so just really looking forward to talking with these guys.
Yeah, looking forward to talking to LDJ and Stephen Forte. Both those guys, they've only been around a handful of years, but have done monumental stuff in this business already. What's going on, Jackson? So yeah, looking forward to talking to them. I'm happy that they decided to come on tonight and made time for us. What's up, Eddie? How you doing, brother?
Maybe we'll even find out what's in the ammo can.
Yeah, there we go. I know what's in that can. I've seen it. But yeah, man, what did you think of last show?
It was an awesome show. It was a great time, filled with plenty of action. Hopefully everybody was there. You hopefully didn't miss it, but if you did, don't worry. We'll fill you in on what happened. Plus, you'll still have front line where you can catch the actual action, as to what happened. So.
And you got to call the action again with Donnie Diablo. How did that go?
Oh, yeah. It is always a great time when I get to call with Donnie. Him and I, we work well together, both here and on commentary. And it was just a great time. And, I always look forward to when I get to do that. Although, shout out to Steve. Hope you're feeling better. Hope to see you back soon, buddy. Because Steve, it is his seat, and I just keep it warm for him when he's not there.
So, you've sat in the audience for years, man. Like, probably going on 7-8 years now. You've been attending WDWA. You've been front row every single time you've been there. How is the action viewed differently from sitting front row as a fan to now sitting and analyzing the match and calling a match? Like, how is the experience different?
For me, I mean, I enjoy calling the matches just as much as I do sitting there watching the matches. So I enjoy it just as much, no matter which seat I'm in. It's just an absolute great time either way. So there isn't a whole lot of difference for me because I'm still the fan sitting there behind that microphone and, sitting there calling the matches. It's just a good time either way. And like I say, there just really isn't a whole lot of difference, except, I get to go back behind the curtain and talk to people and, get to make the grand entrance at the beginning. Those are the big differences. Other than that,
one of the things that when I first started doing commentary a handful of years back with Mr. Travis Dufour, is I always found myself like being all in the action, like I forget that I'm calling the matches, because I'm just enjoying the action. And then sometimes I'd have like little hiccups where I was like, oh, and I forgot what I was doing. Do you ever experience that?
Yeah, actually, I have. There's been times that I've been sitting there and I get so engrossed in the match, and I'm just sitting there watching, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be talking here.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, it's a hard job, man. Like Donnie's been doing it for years, Nets has been doing it for a long time. My buddy Jason, he comes in and out every now and then, but he has his own thing going on. But man, tremendous, at what they do. Everybody excels in it, so I enjoy doing it. It was fun when I did it, but man, I couldn't do it long time term. I'm a busybody, but man, it is not an easy job.
yeah, it does get challenging from time to time, but just because you're so focused on what's happening in the ring, what's going on, and the fan in you wants to take over and just watch the match, but then you got to remember, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be telling people what's happening.
Yeah.
So
I,
you do get that, but
I
yeah, it's other than having to do the talking and remember to talk and coming up with what to say and everything. Other than that, it's just like watching the matches though, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I honestly, I had a blast with Travis. We would just try to make each other laugh, and like I had a great time, man. Like I couldn't ask for a better partner in crime when it come to calling matches. I miss that guy. I had so much fun with him. But yeah, man. Speaking of last show, uh, man, this was one. Too hot to handle was definitely an appropriate name for it. All the action was too high. We were all over the place and out of control. So yeah, I just want to run through these results real quick. But match one, Commonwealth Championship Wrestling, ran by Mr. Ace Montana. They defended their World Heavyweight title. Rockstar Kelly is their new champion, and he defended that title against Rex Riddle. Man, I could tell everybody that's coming out of that camp, they're being trained right. Whatever Ace is doing down there in Richmond, he's freaking killing it. These guys are bringing a lot to the table, and both these guys have a great future. But yeah, still champion Rockstar Kelly. Match two, Dad back in the singles action against the debuting Jerry Jeremiah. What do you think about that match, John?
That it was a pretty good match. And Jeremiah, he's a pretty solid dude. I like him. I've talked to him. I've actually talked to him since the show. He's hit me up and talked to me about Wrestle Talk, and he's even offered his services to get my hardcore title back. But we'll get into that later.
Wow.
But it's been it was a great match, and just a lot of action to it, and of course with Rockstar coming out on top,
Yeah,
retaining that title, it was, and I believe I heard that was his first title defense
that
since
was.
he
He
got
won
that
it.
title.
He just won that title, so that was his first defense. Yeah, Jerry Jeremiah, the debut of Jerry Jeremiah, uh, right into one of the hottest factions going on here in WDWA, Money and Power. So he had to make an impact. He had to do something great. The fans didn't really receive him that well. They weren't really behind him, and I think it's because they love Dad so much. Dad's been a mainstay here at WDWA for so long. Um, so it's just very hard, uh, you know, for anybody to come through that door and make any sort of um, moment outshadowing Dad. So the bar was set high for him, but I can only see, now that he's associated with JTR and AK Bain and the Helm and CEO, I can only imagine, what the future holds for this guy. But it was good to see Dad back in singles action. Match 3, we had our guest tonight, the Sigma males. They defeated Legion um, with Wraith and Titan with Dex on the outside. Every time those guys come down to the ring, they're freaky. They get up into people's faces. I see like the kids shaking and the women screaming and stuff like that. Man, I don't know about the Sigma males. Maybe we can ask them tonight, but I wouldn't want to stand across the ring from those guys.
No, definitely not. They are some tough competitors, and just being across the ring from them, I imagine, can be quite intimidating. And it really is something. I know just the first time Luke came in to WDWA, I was calling action that night with Donnie as well. And, that was night he was saying he had a nuke for the forehead. And he put that ammo box on the announce table. And Donnie and I both were a little skeptical of that ammo box just because, he's talking about having nukes for foreheads. And, it, and putting that ammo box over there where we wanted no parts of that thing. But,
Yeah.
they seeing those two together again was just absolutely awesome. And I think, you know, they may have some gold in their future. Not immediately, of course, but I think they're going to get there eventually.
Yeah, I see them as being one of the hottest new tag teams, up and coming here in WDWA. LD, you mentioned it earlier. LDJ came in, and man, he totally took me by surprise. I've seen Forte, I've seen how good Forte was, but he's been dealing with that back injury for about a year and a half now. I knew what he was. I didn't think that he could, still go like he could. I didn't know because I didn't know his level of training. I didn't know how much problems his back would give. I'm not sure. But LDJ has been nothing but impressive since he's been there, But, man, shock to me. Forte jumped right in that ring like nothing ever happened to him. Looked 100% to me, And if this is how it's going to be going forward, man, it's going to be hard for any tag team to step up against these guys. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what they're going to bring to the table. I'm looking forward to their future here in WDWA. And we're just happy to have them. Match 4, we had the returning Party McFly versus Steel Hammer. What do you think of that match, bud?
There again, that entrance Party did, which obviously was tribute to Hulk Hogan. And the way the crowd got behind Party, I've seen times that the crowd's been kind of iffy on Party, kind of half and half sometimes. But with that entrance he did, the crowd was absolutely behind Party the whole time. And it was a heck of a match for Party, and with him coming out with the victory, of course, you wouldn't have exactly known he came out with the victory afterwards, but still him coming out with the victory on that match. And Steel Hammer, I'm still learning about him. I don't know a whole lot about him. I know he was in that Rumble match. I think that was about the first time we saw him, and so this was the first time I think we've seen him in a singles match in WDWA. But I don't, something tells me it's not going to be the last time that we see him, and not the last time we see Party McFly and the Steel Hammer in the ring together.
Yeah, I would love to see those guys hook back up again, man. Steel Hammer's another one of those guys that are out of that Commonwealth Championship Wrestling camp. Former CCW heavyweight champion. He has been ruthless everywhere he's gone, So I was excited to bring him to WDWA to put him up against what we had. Obviously, Party McFly got the win, but barely, So it's going to be shocking to me to see what comes forth with this, man. Because Steel Hammer is just, man, he is like a mountain. To me, he's like a big Van Vader. He's short, he's shorter, he's thick. and he's badass. So it's gonna be hard for anybody to take that guy off his feet.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see where he goes in WDWA.
Yeah, and it's always great when Party's there. I've known him since he broke in, so it's nice to watch the kid grow and to still be successful. And I'm hoping to see Party McFly more in WDWA, man, going forward. But after that, man, we have match number 5. This is our gauntlet match. Unfortunately, Ty Awesome was not able to make the show, so he had to drop out. But the ranch hand, man, he defeated Johan Nara, Austin Kingsley V, Ryo, and Victor Jones. Man, what did you think of that match? A lot of chaos going on in there.
Yeah, a lot of chaos, and obviously, if you watch, I can't say that win was a clean win for Ranch Hand, and but Ranch Hand is going to do whatever he has to do to win, and I've seen that he is bound and determined that he is going to get that belt from Cisco, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get that belt. And he's shown that by doing whatever it takes to get back to Cisco. So,
yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what happens at Berkeley Mania. Ranch Hand Carlson, he's been on a roll, man. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, whether he has clean wins, whether he cheats to win, he always finds a way to continue to climb the ladder to success here in WDWA. So I'm looking forward to see Cisco come back and those two guys collide, man. After that, we had the light heavyweight championship match between Ace Christian and a debuting Shelby Wilder. Yeah, just like Ty Awesome, we had a cancellation with Jacob Favor. So we had somebody stand in, man, which was Wilder, man. What'd you think of Wilder?
he seemed to be pretty good. I enjoyed watching him, and he's somebody that I could see having him come back here in WDWA. You know, he he gave us some competition to Ace. I mean, it wasn't a clear runaway or anything. So he's pretty good competitor. And but you got to hand it to Ace. He came out with the victory on that, and he had no way of preparing for this opponent because he thought he was wrestling somebody else. He didn't know.
Yeah. No, I'm very proud of that kid. He's been working hard. He's been, hitting the gym. He's been going around, getting all his reps everywhere he can. He's been attending seminars. He just constantly tries to get better. He's definitely a student of the game. There's a lot of kids that are his age that are breaking in that just aren't as hungry as that kid. And his success here in WDWA has been shown because of all that hard work and stuff like that. His ladder to success, man, is endless. I can't wait to see where he goes and how long he's able to keep that title. But as of right now, he's definitely set the bar for the light heavyweight division on where we're going forward. And I can't wait. There's a whole list of guys I can't wait to see lock up with him in that division. So,
but of course, the one thing you got to keep in mind is, with any defense that Ace has from here on out, you got to keep in mind, ever since he lost that title, where has Just Jay been?
Yeah, I'm curious. We'll see, man. We'll keep the ears to the grind, man, and see what his game plan is. But I'll see him lurking around every now and then and see what he's got planned. But yeah, man, I'm curious of what's going on too. So after that match, we have the women's championship match. The champion Tiffany Grady defended against the debuting Pagasa. What do you think of Pagasa's debut, man?
Yeah,
she gets you dancing. She gets you up and twerking.
Well, she didn't get me dancing. That's kind of hard to do. But
you tell me you weren't twerking, Hoss?
No, not quite.
Are you?
But
how can you not get up and shake that stinky leg or something when she's out there like that? The music hitting.
But she was entertaining, though. I'll give her that. She was very entertaining. But that's one place where she messed up. I mean, as entertaining as she was, you don't piss off Tiffany Grady. And by entertaining the people, she pissed off Tiffany Grady.
Yeah,
And
Tiffany Grady was not impressed.
no, and that's something you don't want to do. I made a remark on commentary, that I would rather fight Freddy Krueger in a Cutco factory than to mess with a pissed off Tiffany Grady. You know,
You ain't lying.
and um, I
Don't tell
think
her
that's
yet, but I
something.
still haven't watched that. Don't tell her, but I still haven't watched Dragon Ball Z yet. So, you know,
You better get on it, or you could be next.
no, I'm good.
but but yeah, I mean, it just. I think Pagasa learned the hard way that that's just something you don't want to do. Don't make Tiffany mad.
Yeah, no, I was happy to have Pagasa in. Where I'm always trying to branch out the women's division. I want, my goal
Uh
was to have
oh.
the best women's division.
Uh oh, Gavin.
Uh-oh. Oh gosh. You could have let me know she was in the chat. Come on, Hoss.
I,
You
I
gotta
I
look out
didn't
for me,
know.
bro.
I didn't know. She just popped up. She
Anyways. Damn it. You're muted, John.
I say she must have had that ESPN knowing we were talking about her because
I
she just
guess.
popped
I
up,
guess.
or what do they call it? Women's intuition.
Whatever it is. What I was gonna say. John, man, you gotta give me the Iggy, man. Elbow or something. Um, No, what I was going to say, it was nice to have Pagasa there. I'm always trying to make the women's division the best it can be. I'm always trying to, bring in new faces so we can grow. Um, but man, Tiffany set that bar super high, and she's going to defend that championship, by tooth and nail. And this was just not a good timing for Pagasa to make her debut. Just Tiffany wasn't going to have it. She's on cloud nine right now. She's ready to Sheila. Um, Looking forward to seeing what Pagasa could do in the future. It was just bad timing for her debut. I don't think you want to make a debut against the women's champion, Tiffany Grady. But after that, John, we go to our main event, buddy. Clay Jacobs and Zakar Shaw versus Misused for the tag team championship. John, chaos, brother. What do you think, man?
Absolute chaos. And for the record, because I was asked this several times, no, I do not know what's happening. Seriously, I don't. But I kind of expected this match to be chaos. I mean, anybody knows that when those four men get in the ring together, it is absolute chaos, period, because there is such a hatred between those four men. I don't know how anybody can think that they can control a match with those four men. And of course, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but you got your work cut out for you next show. I tell you that.
Yeah, man. Misused, one of, if not the greatest tag teams that have ever come through WDWA. We were talking about tag teams earlier, they are the champions for a reason. But then, like I've said on this podcast before, you take Zakar and you take Clay, two of the top singles wrestlers, and to me, it's like the mega powers, right? Like you take two of the best, put them together, and now you're going against two of the best. Like you can't ask for a better tag match. I'm old school, man. Like I remember back in the day when the tag teams were always the main event, the Road Warriors, the Midnight Express, the Fabulous Ones, Fantastics. Like, that was back, Rock and Roll Express. Like I love tag team wrestling. But when these guys get together, man, it is a straight fight. I can never throw my chips on the table and bet on anybody because these guys just get out there, man. They throw hands, heads are going to roll, brother. I, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that I have 3 referees that work for me. And after Friday or after Saturday, I have 3 referees that will not referee a misused match. So I got my hands cut out for me, or I got my hands full, and I got my work cut out for me. But you know, nobody wants to work with these guys anymore.
Yeah, Matt
So
says you need to put them in a cage match with no disqualifications.
we'll see, brother. We'll see, man. The gears are always turning. You know, if I put them in a cage match, man, we might just have to put a roof on that thing and
Oh, Hell in a Cell. There you go.
lock it up, and whoever survives survives. But I'm not trying to catch a case. But yeah,
Susie
Clay
volunteers
and
to wrestle.
Zakar win by DQ. Obviously, Misuse had to cheat the win. They have yet to pin those guys fair and square. So moving along to Antebellum, man, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was too hot to handle from last Saturday. What a great show. Fans, man, they were there. They were hot all night long. They were making noise. They were showing us so much love. We love our fans. What a great show, John. Can't wait to do it again. But where can people see this show if they missed it?
If you missed it, you missed one heck of a show, but you can be sure to check it out on Frontline. Frontline is shown every Thursday on Wild Patriots YouTube channel. And, you will catch every minute of the action because Juan does one heck of a job capturing that. And so let's check out a little snippet here from Frontline.
That's right. Every Thursday at 8 p.m. on YouTube /Wild Patriot 22. Give us a like over there. Give us a share. Help get our name and videos out there. We want to show everybody else that WDWA is bringing the best action that there is here on the East Coast, and we can't wait to share our love with the world. But John, that's what we got over at WDWA, man. What's going on at Wrestle Talk?
Yeah, Wrestle Talk, you can catch us right here on Wrestle Talk Podcast on several different platforms. Every other Tuesday night when we don't have Elevation. And, this week we are actually going to be sitting down with Justin Summers of PEI. They're a wrestling group out of Canada. So, Wrestle Talk is reaching more than just wrestling in the United States. We reach out all over the globe trying to talk to future talents. So Justin Summers, he just started PEI over there in Canada. And so we're going to sit down and talk with him and learn more about them. And so it'll be another great interview. And I believe that one will be Luke Roberts and Jeremy Karp will be on that interview. So be sure to tune in. That's 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central Time. And we got just a little thing here from them.
You guys had Road Warrior Animal on?
Yes, they have.
How freaking cool was that, dude? That was awesome. That was
And
on my
if
bucket list, man. I never got a chance to meet him.
Yeah, they've had, and that was before I got with them, to be honest with you. But they've had a lot of great guests on Wrestle Talk, and I've actually gotten to be on some interviews and talk to some people. I've gotten to talk with Al Snow. I've gotten to talk with Cowboy Bob Orton. Um, I've got to talk with Gangrel. you know so I mean, it's just the names go on, and it's just absolutely awesome. And if you want to go back and catch any of those, or where to find Wrestle Talk podcast, you know hit that QR code that's on the screen there. That will link you to all of Wrestle Talk podcasts social medias. um, and you'll be able to check out older interviews, and you'll all the way up till now. And you might you'll see some with me, some with Nightmare Jones, Joe Lance, WDWA referee. He's one of them that started that show, and he's one of them that brought me into it. So
But
check it out.
I bring up Road Warrior Animal, man. One of the greatest tag teams of all time, Hall of Famer, and every company he's ever been in, he's won the world tag titles. But I bring him up because we are about to bring in the future tag team of the millennium. These guys were together, they were kicking ass, they took some time apart, and now they're back together. John, that's right. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for the Sigma Males.
Here we go. You got
look
Steve
at
on the
you.
other line?
What's
Uh-oh.
up, man?
What's
I don't
up,
see
guys?
Forte.
I'm on here. It says I'm on.
You
Yeah.
gotta turn the camera on, Sigma Steve. Come on now.
Well, I see it in the back room, but I don't see it on the screen for some reason. Let's
Yeah.
try
Hey,
something.
back out and back in real quick, Forte.
Hey, he's probably combing his hair, getting his his style right for the camera.
Yeah,
there.
man. You got to
You know.
stay Sigma.
That's right.
What you smoking there, man?
You got it's an Antipolitica's Maduro cigar. They're based out
Yeah.
of North Carolina on the East Coast, somewhere near Emerald Isle. Y'all ever been there?
Yeah. No.
I have never been to Emerald Isle, but my wife is actually from North Carolina. That's where I met her. I lived down there for about a year and a half, but I haven't made the Outer Banks yet. So.
Okay. So anytime the Sigma males win a match, we like to celebrate with a little Sigma Stogie. And then
There we
obviously,
go.
if we're on a nice podcast, I'll always break open some nice Stogs too.
Man, well, we're honored, dude. Looks great, man. I can probably smell it from here.
Oh,
I
it's
love the
great.
smell of cigars. Mr. Forte, you made it.
Man. Finally, yeah. Technical difficulties.
We just we told Luke that you were just becoming more Sigma, man. You had to go take your time, get the hair right and everything like that. So
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, get the hair
so
right.
welcome, gentlemen.
Wait a minute.
We're happy that you guys took the
Thanks for
time
having
out of your busy day to join us. Before we get into what's going on in WDWA and how you guys have made an impact, and what you guys have gone through and where we're going forward, one at a time, do you guys mind telling us a little bit of your guys' history together, how you guys got together, why you guys took some time apart, things like that?
You want to start, Steve, or you want me to get it up to where we met?
I'll start. So I started in the MCW Pro Wrestling Training Center in about 2021. Was doing my thing there, advancing through beginners, intermediate, advanced class, and halfway through that, this big old guy called Luke comes in. Jacked, looking good. I'm like, who's this guy? Whatever. I remember, he probably doesn't remember this, but we had a drill where just drilling in the ring. It was me and Luke up against each other. He lined me right on the throat, and I
Uh-oh.
was like, I
Oh.
hate this guy. I hate him. Screw this guy. He's moving too fast. He doesn't know how to slow down. I don't like him. And it's just funny how
What are you
fate
doing?
works,
Drop down
Yeah,
leapfrogs or something?
something like that. I don't know. It was like maybe an international or something. You just got me right in the throat, man. I was like, I don't want to work with him ever.
Uh-oh.
You know how fate is, man. They got put together, and sure
So
enough,
the best thing to
broke it.
do when you don't want to work against somebody is team up with them.
Yeah, that's exactly
That
what
way
it
you
is. They
don't
want,
you don't have
yeah,
to take any throat shots.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
it.
normally what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Steve, you were at MCW first,
Yes.
and Luke, you came in after Steve.
Yes, I started wrestling down in Georgia while I was living in South Carolina, and then when I moved to where was that? In Woodbridge, Virginia. Obviously, the closest place to me at that point. Didn't know of WDWA yet, and that's where I went to start training. So I was wrestling for 2 years, just in Georgia for APW out of Statesboro, Georgia. Moved to Virginia and then started training at MCW. You know, trying to just make it on my own. And then that's obviously when I met Steve. They came to me, hey, we want you to be the Sigma males. Well, Steve can attest to this, and it's like, first off, what's a Sigma male? Second off, what are our names, right? And then third, they were wanting the Sigma males to be something completely different. I'll just keep it that way than what you see today. I'll just leave it there. And then we start tagging maybe 10 months after I got there. So our first tag match, was it in January of 23 or December, October 22?
I think it was probably December around there.
Yeah, December of 22. Wrestled together as a tag team all up and down the East Coast, mostly, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia areas. And then Steve, I don't know when you actually hurt your back, but that's when we had to hit the pause button.
So you guys were teaming all the way up until the injury?
Off and on.
Yeah, off and on because Luke ended up moving to North Carolina, so we were on teaming like every other month. We were doing our singles things. I was going up to Jersey, Pennsylvania. He was in North Carolina, the Georgia area.
Yeah,
we're still teaming up until our last match. Honestly, teaming together was December of 23, and
who'd you guys
then
wrestle then?
we were in MCW. I think it was a battle royal. We almost won it, but
Hey,
didn't.
it was close.
It was. I remember.
And to be honest, we won some tag gold for about 52 seconds, if I don't remember correctly. And then it was drastically taken away from our pause because, certain refs weren't in the area. But I clearly remember a distinct win there for the championship. And there's someone else, I won't mention his name, but we ran into him a little bit this past weekend. He was in the ring during that time, too.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. John, you want to talk a little bit about that? You and I were talking about it offline earlier.
Yeah, because as a matter of fact, there's 2 comments here about it already. Matt Pinkston wants to know how the hell you added that ass at the end of Sigma males with the tiny pinky. And then, of course, Susie says, and they had Kevin the ass. So it's been mentioned twice now. So you mentioned the guy you ran into this weekend. You want to explain a little bit about the ass?
So first off, there was the Sigma males. It was just me and Steve. There was someone else in the group. They got pushed out of the group. Austin then comes in, but he's made a SIT, an SIT, which is a Sigma in training. He wasn't quite ready to become a Sigma male. So we made him an assistant Sigma student, #ass. So that's where that terminology and acronym
Seems
came
like
from.
the name suits him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
He wasn't quite ready to be, superior level as a Sigma male, and he obviously couldn't be an alpha male because that's our arch nemesis, right? So we made him an ass.
So you actually mentioned earlier one question, and I've heard people ask before. So I'll go ahead and ask you now since you mentioned it earlier. You want to explain to people what a Sigma male is for those who don't know?
You want to
We're
take it,
better.
Steve?
I
You
mean,
you
so
start, and then I'll try to clean it up.
yeah. So we all know there's beta. That's the bottom. And then people think that the top is alpha, but we're above all that. We don't need anybody's exception. We don't need people. We're I don't even know. It's like it's hard to put into words. It's just better than the best. We're the top. There's nothing better than us. We're above alphas. We're beyond betas. If you got somebody who you think is the best in your promotion, we're better than them. Just give us an opportunity.
The clear difference in alpha male, he's got to rule the roost. He's the typical jock that has to be in charge and basically run his mouth and try and manipulate and control the narrative, as you will, and have to be the loudmouth of the group. A sigma male owns the room without saying a damn thing and just is in charge just by proximity and being there and doesn't have to say a word. Why that is? Well, that's a sigma male for you. Now you put two of them together, it's typically a sigma male is a lone wolf, but ironically, you got two of us sigma males. So it's a little different, but we put our own flavor and pizzazz on it.
And then
Some
if you
people
want to
may
be
say, "Well, you see more alpha."
nah, if you want to get all technical about it in mathematics, sigma means the sum is greater than its parts. So me and him alone are great. Together, sky's the limit.
Yeah. 1 + 1
Yes, sir.
equals sigma. There we go. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys giving us a little bit of your history and backstory, but let's move along a little bit to WDWA. Steve, I gotta ask, brother. You came in probably roughly 2.5, almost 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Had a handful of matches, did pretty well. And then I took over the company.
Yes, you did.
And, as a whole, we were all growing. So a lot of you young guys got together to sort of create this faction to where you're like, hey, we're the young guys. We don't want to do what authority wants us to do. We don't want to be like the veterans. I don't know what to say, but you guys took it upon yourselves to make up your own rules, your own thing.
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about how Supremacy came together and how that was just different from what you did with Sigma males.
I mean, you kind of said it yourself. A bunch of young guys. We just felt like we deserved the opportunity. We weren't given it to us. We're being overlooked, undervalued, and decided to band together. And normally, I probably wouldn't have associated myself with them, but Luke was MIA at the time, so needed a couple guys to have my back, and it was the 4 other members of Supremacy. We got together, and you know the rest.
Yeah, I do know the rest. I mean, they kind of took over WDWA for about a year and a half.
Yeah, they did.
That being said, I mean, you guys were always in the main event. You guys were jumping on all the titles. Seemed like everything surrounded Supremacy. Everybody was, bouncing off you guys. But Steve, you got injured very early in the Supremacy,
That's true.
where
Yeah.
you took a managerial role. But in that time, you had Zakar become the WDWA World Heavyweight Champion twice. You had Waikis and Chulo become tag team champions, held it for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Very successful. You had Austin become the Holy Grail winner. Like, I'm not trying to, jab you in the side or nothing like that, brother, but how did that feel, man? Sitting on the sideline, watching your boys grow, watching them find success, and you were right there, man. You were right there at the pinnacle. It was within reach of you, and then this injury happened.
I mean, it was a roller coaster of emotions. I think I only had one match with Supremacy, teaming with them, before I went down with the injury. For those who don't know, it was a L4, L5 herniated disc. It was so bad. It got to the point where I could barely walk a few steps without taking a break, sitting down. I couldn't change my own socks. It was bad, and I was actually still wrestling through some of that pain.
Mm.
But yeah, man. I once I had the surgery, I thought I was done wrestling. Felt sorry for myself, and the mind went to a dark place. I was done. But Zakar, Austin, Chulo, and Keys, they reached out to me and they said, "You can come back, manage us." And again, at this point, I didn't even know I was going to be able to wrestle ever again. So I figured I can at least be part of this still. I can at least be part of the business that I love. So I did that, and success, like you said, Zakar winning the title, Sexy and Blessed winning their thing, Austin winning theirs, and I felt happy for them at the time. I considered them very close friends, but I just getting that itch, man. I got to be there. Why not me? Why can't I? And yeah.
You know, I'll be the first one to say it. Like, I don't think that they would have been as successful as they were without you in their corner.
That's right. Tell them.
Whether that meant, motivational support or you getting physical to help them win. I don't think Supremacy would have found all that success if all five guys weren't working for the same objective. Luke, did you hear about Steve's injury early on? Did you?
Well, so that was the whole. So we were still tagging while he was slowly getting more involved with WDWA and other promotions Northeast, and so we were slowly, by just design or almost, we had different interests and we were getting kind of pulled away, still tagging here and there. And then I moved to North Carolina to potentially and try and look for, other Sigma males. So we had our both two agendas on mine. And I found another Sigma in training, found a new place to train. I was trying to create, my own individual singles run as, the Sigma male, going down to North Carolina, a little bit in Virginia, and, here and there, maybe South Carolina. But the idea was to still tag with Steve. But once he, was on the sideline and no longer able to wrestle, that's when I put it into, high gear singles run and kind of create my own identity in the Carolinas, to where that was my whole focus, was just to move up the ranks, as the Sigma male, in large and in charge, clanging and banging and grounding and pounding my way through any and everything that I could. And the reason for moving is when you're in a secret Sigma society, you gotta find players that can play, as in wrestle. So that's what I was doing. And then it just happened to be that I moved back up to Virginia, and Steve was looking to come back to wrestling. And me and him talked one day, and I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot. And that's how we kind of ended up at WDWA.
So no Sigmas down south.
We have tagged
just Stogies.
Just the Stogies. We have tagged once down in North Carolina, recently. So we're trying to create more of a presence up and down the East Coast, and hopefully, at some point we can get as far north as Maine or New York or Jersey, and then far south as Florida, and then we could potentially shoot over to the West Coast. But we're trying to take one state at a time.
Yeah, man. Well, I think you guys are doing great. LDJ, man, you came in the WDWA and your first two matches were against two Supremacy members, Y Keys and Chulo. What were your thoughts? Because here they are, man. Like, some of the best WDWA has to offer, and you came in and just plowed right through them, man. Like, if that doesn't shoot Sigma, nothing does.
Yeah, and they were, they're good wrestlers, good competitors, but like, how is everybody different And how do you stand out in today's world? You know, it's about how much time and effort and passion that you have individually and how much you're going to put back into yourself and into the game. And I just think at the end of the day, whoever puts more time into themselves and into getting better, it's only going to show in the results of the matches. And clearly, that's what you saw. But in doing so, the whole effort was, you know, I got tasked to do 3 specific things. 1, win the crowd. 2, bring the Sigma males back together. And in part of that, 3, team back up with old Sigma Steve. But we got him there. It took a while. It took a minute, but we got there.
Yeah, objective complete.
Yeah.
On
But
to the next thing, Gavin.
that's
On
right.
to the next.
You know, once it's complete, you know, more objectives. You know, that being said, you know, what do you guys see yourself here in WDWA? You know, do you see yourself, you know, trying to, you know, put supremacy in their place, you know, shut them up, Waukesha, Chulo, Austin? You guys got your eyes set on the tag titles. Is there any other tag teams you guys would like to work with here in WDWA? We saw you guys up against Legion. You guys were, you know, handled yourself great. Like you guys never were apart, man. You guys were still at it.
But before we elaborate on that, I want to kind of confess I'm not the Sigma male, and that's kind of my own like ego taking over before coming back or coming here. Together, me and Steve are the Sigma males, but really we're trying to see where this thing goes and, you know, wrestle up against the best tag teams that WDWA has to offer, and we'll kind of see where we got. Turn it to Steve on like kind of what his ambitions are, but you know, I would love to have a match against whoever the tag champs are. I know right now it's still misused, but hey, that'll be a hell of a match. I mean, we still need maybe a couple more matches to bang some rust and cobwebs out, but I think we're, you know, as far as tag team psychology, like that's already there. We just got to work on repetition, you know, more reps and sets. It's just been a while, you know.
Yeah, because
Well,
I
Steve,
definitely didn't see any rust or cobwebs this past Saturday. I'll tell you that right now.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
yeah. Well, Steve, we saw how you felt about Austin, man. You know,
Yeah.
we knew there was a little bit of turmoil with Sexy and Blessed. Now it's for sure that there's turmoil with Austin. You know, where does this leave Sigma males and supremacy? You know, where does that lead this, you know, turmoil? I mean, is that off the page? Are we done with that already?
I don't know, man. I'd like to say that Saturday I made a big statement that I'm done with him and supremacy. I've had it with their lying, their manipulation. But knowing Austin, I don't think he's going to go away easily. He might have to shut his ass up in the ring, honestly.
You
Yeah.
have to shut the ass up. The ass being the ass.
Yeah. No pun intended. No pun intended.
Yeah, because I mean, you told
There you
Austin
go.
Saturday night that, you know, him and Supremacy could kiss your ass, but it's going to be hard for Austin to kiss himself. But you know, so
Hey,
why do
Gavin, if
why
you
do
need
you
us
think?
to,
Go ahead, Luke. Go ahead, LDJ.
oh no, I was just gonna say if you need us to make the ass kiss his own ass, I'm pretty sure we can make that
Figure
happen.
it
We'll
out.
pretzel him up real quick.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the audience would love to see that happen.
There you go.
But why do you think though? You know, because we found out that you had been cleared long before, you know, it was actually put out there and before you even knew it. Why do
Yeah,
you
man.
think Supremacy kept that from you?
But before you answer that, like, just to be clear, I let them know before Holy Grail so that you would have a potential spot in the Holy Grail. I was going to give you
That's something.
a match, see if you could enter the Holy Grail. And that never got relayed back to you, you know? Like, I tried to call, you know, I was calling. You know, you guys had your own little, you know, place you guys all hang out with, man, but they kept answering the phone. So, you know, my hands were tied, man. I couldn't get a hold of you straight. You know, I figured they were your boys. They were gonna, you know, relay that message, man, but they kept you on the shelf. A lot of that, I think, goes back to, like they found success with your help, and they were just throwing that anchor around your foot, man. But what's up with that, man? What's up with, why do you think that?
Um, I don't know, man. That's a very loaded question. So from the moment you guys saw me return in a managerial role, I was back in the gym. I was back in the rings, little by little, working my way back up. And at a certain point, I felt very good. I feel like I'm back in shape. I'm not missing a step in the ring, and I'm just wondering what the hell is going on. Why, like, doctor's not clearing me, and something's not right. I'm passing all the tests, and I think you said it best. With my help, they were all successful. Or W after W after W. Would you really want to change that? Risk me being back in the ring, finding my own success, and not being by their side? Even though I would have back then, not right now, but back then I would have. Even if I was back in the ring, I could have won. I could have won a title. I could have won, I don't know, the Mid Atlantic title or something. But I think it was just them not wanting to change what was working, and maybe a little bit of jealousy.
I was just about to say that, Steve. I think
Yeah.
they are jealous of you potentially passing them up, or
Maybe, man, maybe.
they didn't want you to be their boss anymore, or something.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it wasn't. I knew something just didn't feel right because I'm back in the gym, lifting my normal numbers. I'm training, not missing a step. Something's just wrong here. Sure enough, everything that's in the dark comes to the light, and yeah, I could have been back months ago, man. Still feel a certain type of way about it, but can't dread on the past, honestly.
What did you think when WDWA said that LDJ was coming in? Here you are. You're in the locker room with your boys. And a blast from the past is coming in, man. How did you feel when you first heard that news?
I think around that time, my frustration had grown so high with just what is going on? Why am I not cleared yet? And then I see Luke's coming. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I was shocked, man. I didn't even know you were back in the area. I didn't know he was back. I thought me and him could be cordial, but I also felt some type of way because me and Luke, before Supremacy, we're like brothers. And I didn't hear nothing from him when I got hurt. When I was laying in the hospital when I had the surgery and throughout recovery, I didn't hear anything. Only to find out all of those messages, much like yours, Gavin, was just blocked by the Austin Keys Chulo. So I never got anything from him. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, this guy doesn't care about me, so why should I care about him? Give him the time of the day. So yeah, there's a lot. There was a lot going on there.
Luke, what do you think about them not relaying those messages, man?
As far you talking about Supremacy or just
yeah, so Steve just mentioned how much you reached out to him, checking on him, everything like that. But those messages, they stayed with the rest of Supremacy, man. They never let Steve, they never told Steve that you were checking in on him or anything like that. And and in return, Steve built up a little bit of grudge, a little bit of anger.
Yeah, no, you got to think of where they were prior to where Supremacy got to. So I'm going to say this over here is where Supremacy got to, and the Sigma males were, I would say, just subpar or maybe a little bit above. I don't know. I won't be the judge there, but one could say, and Steve kind of already alluded to it, but the ego factor and then just the sheer idea that if they were to tell Steve that, LDJ, myself, is coming back, and even make it an option that the Sigma males could potentially come back, they always knew that the Sigma males, if they got back together, it would be a question to how much longer Supremacy would last. As in, the Stogie that fire would be put out by the Sigma males. Whatever the supremacy was doing, it would question the integrity internally to supremacy. So them knowing that, they're going to try to hold some information and some text messages, some phone calls, and in my mind, that's kind of where that led to was, hey, we're not going to tell them, and we're going to let it ride and let it go where it's going to go, because they were scared of getting the boys back together, getting the band back in town. And as you can see, we've been doing pretty good, and inevitably that's what they were scared of, and it's happening now. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I
You
could
know what
say,
they say, you let two birds of a feather fly away, they'll come together if it was always meant to be. So
It's
I could
very
say, man,
poetic, bro.
once you came in the picture, man, supremacy is one by one falling apart. People have been trying to do this now for a year and a half, try to disband such a powerful force, man. But Luke, it only took you to just be present in WDWA to make this happen, man. So, I'm sure a lot of the audience, thanks you for coming on board. They're happy to see the Sigma males back together. They're happy to see Steve on the right side of the law. John, man, you were around for all of that stuff, brother. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, we watched Clay fight against supremacy for the longest time, and I mean, you could see the fractures starting, but it wasn't till LDJ came in and that you really saw supremacy break. And you know, but one question I have, LDJ, when you came in to WDWA, your first match there, and I believe even your second match, um, I was on commentary that night, and you told them that you had a nuke for their forehead, and then you took that box and put it on the announce table right in front of myself and Donnie Diablo, and we were a little bit leery of what you had in that box at that point, and if we wanted to be anywhere near that box. So, what was in the box?
well, metaphorically, wherever I go, I'm dropping bombs. Quote unquote, I'm dropping nukes on anybody that asks for it. So what I
Foreheads
bring to
on
the ring
foreheads.
is absolute, not necessarily chaos, but controlled insanity. Okay. And when I'm in there, it's a fight. It's it's two bulls going at it. In the box can be led to your interpretation and to your imagination. But what I open out of that box, no point intended, is going to be a little warheads on forehead. Now, depending on who we're wrestling, who I'm wrestling, and who's standing across the ring from me, may unleash something a little more than some other days. But what I'm alluding to essentially is when I'm wrestling, hey, we're in there, we're taking care of business, and there might be some haymakers that get dropped. These right here are dropping the bombs. In the box, there's nothing in the box. But
Spoiler.
other than
Not
some
on the box.
good Sigma Stogies ready to be smoked for a couple victory cigars. So
Well, that's good to know because, like I said, we were a little nervous that night with that box sitting on the table, because we're like, whoa, wait a
Foreheads
minute,
on foreheads.
he's threatening to drop nukes and warheads, and
It's a good thing we're in
hey,
a firehouse.
yeah, he done put this box in front of us. Do we need to be worried? But
Call the bomb squad.
Got to have some sniffing dogs around the house.
Yeah.
now you don't need none of that. It's open to your imagination. We only bring the box out when we're wrestling, and when the box comes out, it's going to be a good fight, and it's going to be a pretty doggone good wrestling match as well. So where I goes, the box goes.
So, a couple more questions, and then we'll let you guys go. We don't want to keep you guys all night.
Mm.
But one question I have is, what other tag teams in WDWA you guys want to hook up with? You know,
All
who
of
would you
them.
guys like to stand on the
All of
outside?
them. All of them. See, let me take this one real quick, Luke. I'll hand it over to
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
You want to wrestle everyone, you know? Why not? What better way to prove yourself as a tag team than to beat every tag? It's not one specific tag team that I got in mind that they're the guys. No, I want to take them all down. I want to wrestle all of them because I think the goal is for any tag team or any singles competitor is to win gold. So I want to be tag team champion with Luke. And in order to do that, I know it's not going to happen right away. We need to prove ourselves. We got to beat everyone. Leave no question. Unless you got somebody specific in mind, Luke. I mean, it's up to you, man.
Yeah, obviously, the end state is to get to the tag team gold, the titles, right? But it's all about the journey that they talk about. It's all about how you get there and when you get there, and the people and the wrestlers that you meet on the way there. And then once you get there, is it over? No. The whole idea is to take WDWA on a tour, right? On the ride of their lives. And man, if we could, I'd like to wrestle in any place that we could, all across West Virginia, Virginia, all up and down the East Coast. Like you said, wrestle the best tag teams across the East Coast, let alone the world, and bring in big names, big stars, and have big matches, and really just prove to the world of professional wrestling that the Sigma males belong at the top of the mantle, and you ain't just going to push us off. And if you do, it's going to be one hell of a fight. No point
Right,
intended,
damn
but the
right.
warhead's on forehead.
There you go, that boxing again. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But there's legends out there that are still wrestling today. There's big tag teams that are wrestling out there today. And I know there's, not to name any of them, but if they want to test themselves to see if they still got it, I think the Sigma males would give them a hell of a run for their money.
Well, I got another question real quick, and then I'll let John take it from there. The NWA. I
Ooh.
saw this on social media. You want to talk a little bit about that, Forte?
Um, yeah, I'm dipping my toes in that NWA little
Congratulations.
oceans. I appreciate it, man. Plan on bringing Luke along too, but without getting too into it, I'm not sure if I'm even allowed to. Just dipping my toes, trying to get in there and become a mainstay there. And I would love to become a contracted talent by them. But if that comes, that comes. If it doesn't, it's all right. But I definitely want to perform for them with Luke. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to go into further detail.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I think it's such an amazing thing, that it's such an amazing story. I mean, you literally just battled, a back injury where you were almost crippled. You fought back from that. Didn't know if you were going to wrestle again. You've only been back a handful of months, right? And opportunities are just being thrown at you. It's the world works in mysterious ways, but like Luke said, you being a Sigma male, you kind of just take over the room.
True, that's true. Yeah.
So just lacing those boots back up, man, just are throwing eyes all over both you guys, and I know Luke mentioned, that he wants to go around, all the United States, all around the world, and be the best tag team. And you guys already have, NWA looking out at you guys. And, I'll tell you guys, like, on behalf of WDWA, like, we love having you guys. I think both of you guys are amazing individual talents. And I think you guys are great tag talents. I think whatever your guys' hopes and dreams are for this pro wrestling business, I think you both carry yourself in certain ways, and you both work hard enough that you guys are able to achieve whatever your goals are. So, congratulations on just, everything, congratulations on NWA, congratulations on, coming back from an injury. LDJ, man, I know you bounce around a lot, man, from, different bases and stuff like that, man. And I can only imagine, how you have to uproot your life and change, on the drop of a dime, man, and still be able to work with not only Steve, but just having any sort of pro wrestling career at all, man. I can't imagine, how you have to juggle life. So, on behalf of WDWA, I appreciate this. I think you both, uh, you know, you guys bring a lot to the table, but also because of who you are as men, I think you guys make great examples for what WDWA is. We're just happy to have you guys there. So,
Appreciate it, man.
John,
Thank you.
you got anything else for the Sigma males before we let them go?
Just one last question, something we actually didn't touch on that I wanted to know is, LDJ, you were offered to join Supremacy at one point and turned it down. You know, what did it take for you to turn that down? Was it even a thought that really you entertained, or?
Now, never a thought. I don't associate myself with a certain scum of people. We'll call them piss ants, betas, maggots, whatever you want to call them. But where the line gets drawn is the foundation of the person. We'll equate that to their character and overall caliber as a person. And Supremacy, well, they don't have that. And I'll leave that open for interpretation.
So, all right. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate both of you coming in and giving us the time that you have, and just really look forward to seeing you in that ring again very soon, because I know big things are going to be happening for you gentlemen, because
Thank you.
you guys are one heck of a talent, and you're a force to be reckoned with. And I think there are big things in your future.
Appreciate it,
Hey, I
man. Thank you for
appreciate
having
that,
us.
Sean,
Yeah,
Gavin.
thank
Thank you
you.
for having us. It means the world to have us on here.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't just limit it to the places that you made or referenced in the past or a couple minutes ago. The idea is to take WDWA to the moon and back, to the sun and back, and
Mhm.
wrestle in West Virginia. So,
We
hell
are in
yeah.
better company because you guys are both a part of it. So, thank you guys for being a part of WDWA. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your personal lives to do this podcast.
Mhm.
We hope to have you guys back on here. Maybe next time might be some gold on your waist when we do
Hey,
this.
maybe. There
Um,
you go.
yeah. So looking forward to what's going to happen here, guys. But I'll let you guys go get back at it. But, thanks again on behalf of John and myself. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having us.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Super cool, John. Love those guys,
Yeah.
man. They're doing such great things, and happy that they had the time tonight to jump on, man. I think that they even though they both have been around, and especially Steve, he's been in the locker room for quite some time. I think these guys, they're the future of WDWA, and maybe even possibly the future of the wrestling world. But thankfully, WDWA is here at the launching pad for what their future holds, man. So super cool. But John, man, let's move on to something else, buddy. You want to talk a little bit about the FWWC?
Yeah, man. We got the FWWC. We've got a big pay-per-view coming up. And this weekend we call it Summer Stone. And we got our tag championships on the line. And with the FWWC, we are as close as you can get to being actual wrestling without stepping in the ring. If you've had a dream to be a wrestler, to actually participate in professional wrestling, and but you just can't do it for whatever reason, maybe you have uh, some type of ailment or something that just doesn't allow you to do it, FWWC is the place. We shoot promos on each other. We trash talk each other. We role play matches, but it's just role play on a Facebook thread. And then if you actually win a championship, you get that championship belt. I normally could show you one, but yeah.
So what happened? What do you mean by that? Like, what happened with this title, man? You gotta let the people know. Some sticky fingers at a WDWA show.
Yeah, well, I was going to get into that right after this, but my title, my hardcore title, right there, Sam Adams decided to grab that title after he lost, in a match that resulted in disqualification. And he has now renamed my title the All Atlantic Championship and claims to be the first ever WDWA All Atlantic Champion. Now, Gavin, you have not authorized an All Atlantic Champion.
I have not.
And he has not returned my belt. So, and you've instructed me that I can't, even though he has my property, I can't touch him, and that I'm not a trained professional wrestler, so I can't step in the ring.
Not so much that it's lawsuits and stuff. You don't you don't want anything, man. You don't want to be taken to court, for something like that, But
so we got to figure out how I'm getting my belt back.
Well, first of all, we got to get Sam back to WDWA. So right now, we're putting up these signs, to help get the word out there. If anybody sees Sam Adams, on our behalf, on behalf of Hardcore Hoss and the FWWC, we're looking for that title. So be on the lookout. If you see Sam, let us know.
I've heard rumor that, this past weekend he took off to Puerto Rico with my title.
I saw that.
So I mean, evidently he's scared to come back to WDWA now that he stole my title, I think. So he took off to Puerto Rico, a whole nother country, so I can't get it.
We'll get it back for you, sir.
Oh, and Andrew wants to see me versus Sam Adams at Berkeley Mania.
Never say never.
Well, and you never know, like I say, I'm not a trained wrestler. You've pointed that out to me before, but I may have to pick an opponent for him or something. Who knows?
He says Sam fears Hoss.
But yeah, so but in the FWWC you do get real titles. And we just have a really good time over there. And so we actually have a little spot here for them as well. So
Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter, where the world's smartest wrestling fans come together to compete for real championships. Original characters, trash talking, picks during live events, pay-per-views, and even get-togethers like bowling, ice skating, and pool tournaments as well. We have members from across the globe who will stop at nothing to climb to the top of the Fantasy Wrestling Power Rankings. Simply the best fantasy wrestling group in the world. Why? Because of you, the creative and active members of the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter.
Super cool, John.
Yeah, but yeah, so hit me up if you want some information about the FWWC. I'll be more than happy to give it to you. But and you never know. And trying to get my belt back, Gavin, I might have to attend your wrestling school.
There you go. every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come on down. We're right where Martinsburg, West Virginia and Inwood meet, right there on 11. 300 down, 50 a week. Come learn from some of the greatest in the East Coast. We got a bunch of people jumping in to spread their knowledge. If you're gonna come and learn with WDWA and you're gonna go out and about and work, we want to make sure you guys are trained well so that the WDWA name lives on. And when people hear it, it's a very respected name and stuff like that. So we take pride in training our people correctly with respect. And if you or anybody would like to become a WDWA wrestler or just a pro wrestler in general, feel free to hit us up, man. We can start this training ASAP.
So, and one of the last things I want to hit here real quick, Gavin, for anybody who missed it, there was a huge announcement at the last show, because we talked all about the last show, but we didn't mention the huge announcement that you made concerning the newest Hall of Fame inductee that's going to be inducted at Berkeley Mania.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see that, John.
WDWA Hall of Fame inductee, Triple Fierce, Kevin Mears.
Hell yeah. Triple Fierce Kevin Mears inducted into the 2025 WDWA Hall of Fame. I said it on Saturday, John. Like, one of the things I think about when choosing Hall of Famers is people that have helped the foundation of WDWA grow. And John, you were there for probably all of it. Without Triple Fierce Kevin Mears and everything that he's done with WDWA, his impact, we just would not be where we are without him laying those stones down and creating a great foundation over the years. What a great talent. What a great person. I'm an honor to share the ring with him, honor to share a locker room with him, honor to call him a friend. The guy is living the best life. He's got a great wife, a great son. So happy to be able to do this moment for him. Very well deserved. Very happy for him, John.
Yeah, absolutely. He is so deserving of this. And, I watched Kevin Mears, the whole time he was there, and just watch him go through WDWA. And of course, then he's held so many WDWA championships. And then out there in Tennessee, he wrestled for School of Morton. It was School of Morton champion. Just absolute awesome person. And, it was a very sad day when he got hurt. He had to vacate the WDWA championship. And, then he finally decided, okay, it's time to hang it up. because he wanted to hold the best title of all, and he wanted to make sure he was there for his family. And of course, that title was the title of being a father. And, I, I can respect that for him. And it's absolutely awesome to see him inducted.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing him again. I haven't seen him since my wedding. Uh, just fantastic guy. It's going to be a great moment for him, for me, for the audience, for everybody that knew him. Definitely something that uh, is near and dear to myself, to be able just to have the moment to put him up on that pedestal. Um, Very much looking forward to it at Berkeley Mania. But yeah, Kevin definitely deserves it.
Yep. Looking forward to that. So Triple Fears, Kevin Mears, that he is, he's
Speaking
a
of
heck of a good guy.
Speaking of Berkeley Mania, one of the matches that we announced so far, something that's new that we want to start doing annually. So every Berkeley Mania going forward, I was inspired by like the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. It's something that it's one match that something that people can look forward to every single year. So we are going to start doing at Berkeley Mania 8. We're going to start the Berkeley Battle Royal. That's right. That's a 6-foot trophy. I'm 5'11", so that extra inch is looking down on me. Staring at me in the face, man. What a great looking trophy. I can't wait to see who's going to walk away with that with WDWA, but also I'm looking forward to it being the genesis of just a tradition here at WDWA. We continue to do new things and grow, and I'm looking forward to that. And John, we actually released the first name for that battle royal today. Give it up for the Warwolf Creed has entered the Berkeley Battle Royal. So we're happy to have him there. I've been in the ring across this guy. He's done nothing but grow and get better, and he's bigger than I've ever seen him before. So it's a warning to everybody else in that battle royal that Warwolf Creed is showing up, and he'll bite your head off in order to win that trophy. So be careful.
Yeah, I have seen that man wrestle several times, and he is one heck of a competitor. He's a fierce competitor, and don't think that he's not going to be ready for this, and that he won't do whatever it takes to win, because he most certainly will. And it's going to be a real treat to see him in there again. And I don't know who else is stepping in there, but let me tell you, just seeing that he is the first announcement, I can only imagine how much bigger it gets from there. And I'm sure this match is going to be something, because just from the first competitor, it's huge.
Yeah. I can't wait for it. Great match. I've always been a fan of battle royals. Goes way back in tradition of pro wrestling. But to be able to establish something as honorable as a trophy, just say you were the best that night. You were the best out of everybody. It's something that whoever the winner is going to be able to take home and cherish. But also here at WDWA, it's just great to start a new tradition, and so to be the first, man, nobody ever is going to forget the first. So this one's going to be very big. So if you guys can make it out, please make it out to Berkeley Mania, August 30th at the Berkeley County Youth Fairgrounds in Martinsburg, West Virginia. But before that, we will be at the South Berkeley Fire Hall again on August 13th for Antebellum. And one of the matches there will be a rematch for the tag team championship. It will be Misuse putting their title on the line against Zakar Shaw and Clay Jacobs, with yours truly as a special guest referee. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Like I mentioned earlier, I have no referees that are willing to work any more Misuse matches. They have been beaten on. They have been, made to look ridiculous that, misuses, mistreated all the referees, that I no longer and they no longer feel safe to be in that environment. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take ownership of that, and I'm going to put the stripes on. I'm going to get in the ring. I'm going to call everything right down the line. And we need an ending to this craziness. We need to see who's going to get their shoulders down to the mat for 1, 2, 3, and I'll be there to make sure it happens.
You have your hands full on that for sure, Gavin, because I don't know how anybody can possibly think they can control the mayhem that's going on between those 4 men. It's absolutely crazy. And, your wife threw something out there. It's 16th.
Oh, what did I say? 13?
13.
All right, 16th. My bad. Good job, honey. See?
Of course, the wife is going to catch it,
Of course. She is on it, I've been hitting the head a lot. She keeps me straight. She makes sure I'm doing the right thing, that I'm on track.
But yeah, that's going to be one heck of a match, and I don't even know. Like I say, I don't know how you're going to keep this straight. I really don't.
I'm just going to do my best. The one thing that I'm okay with somebody trying to lay their hands on me. I'm a grown ass man. I've been a pro wrestler for quite some time. I've had people even bigger than them try to take me down, and I've been able to kick their ass. So I'm going into this like with zero fear. I'm not afraid of these guys. I don't get hurt easily. So, there needs to be somebody in there that, can have the law down, to lay the law down. And I have no more refs left. So it's going to be me. I'll take full ownership of that. I don't want to create a negative or harmful environment for any of my employees, especially the referees. So I'll take it upon myself, and I'll write down the line. And the same thing goes with Clay and Zakar. I'm not going to be showing them any favors. The rules will be just the same for them as they are for misuse. So,
Yes,
but yeah, John,
and
August
I'm definitely
16th, buddy.
Definitely looking forward to that show. As a matter of fact, Susie points out, we had scheduled vacation, and when she told me the dates that we were going away, I got thinking, and I said, you know what? We can't go on vacation. That's WDWA weekend. So we rescheduled our vacation just for WDWA.
You guys are too nice. You guys are awesome.
But definitely looking forward to it. Make sure you're there. Don't want to miss that show. And it's bound to be a good time. Of course, that's the only match we have so far that's been released. And so unfortunately, we're not going to have the fans weigh in tonight just because we don't have the matches. But
in 2 weeks, when we're here for episode 8, we will be able to have the matches.
Donnie wants you to bring back the Coolio hair for.
I would love to bring back the Coolio hair. I just don't have patience for it.
Ellie said she scheduled her vacation around it too. So,
Ellie, you rock.
You must be doing something right because people are scheduling their vacations around your shows.
I love to hear that. Like, people don't ever feel like you have to do it, but we appreciate everybody's efforts to come out to every show. We understand. It's not easy for people to spend their income. Especially when we run twice a month. Like I get it. But our fans are so loyal and they're so great, and they continue to show us nothing but love, and whatever we're doing, John, you said, we're doing it right because people continue to come, people continue to grow, people continue to get their friends and family to come. We have so many people that come that don't even like pro wrestling, that leave enjoying it, having a great time, and they come up to us, especially like, people's wives are like, I hate wrestling, and they're like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like, it's such an honor to, like, with a lack of a better term, pop their wrestling cherry. It's just it's an amazing feeling to do what I do, putting on these shows and just being able to see smiles on people's faces and the little kids cheering and just I just love being in an environment where everybody's happy and having a good time, and to be able to be the one that puts that on for people is just simply amazing. So thank you to all the fans that come out. Thank you for everybody that has a part in it, whether you're the fans, whether you're people that own the building, all the wrestlers, the referees, the announcers, every single person. This is all a group effort. Together we are the WDWA family, and we all shine because of everybody's hard work. So that being said, John, I love everybody, man. And, I love what we're doing here at Elevation. We keep growing, brother. But we have come to an end for episode 7. And it has been an honor to do this again with you. Such a great time talking to Sigma males. Looking forward to what they're going to do in the future. John, take us home, brother.
Yeah, just thank you guys. We appreciate each and every one of you. We wouldn't be doing this without you. And we absolutely, your support means so much. And thank you just doesn't seem like enough, honestly. But, be sure to catch the show August 16th, Antebellum. You don't want to miss that. Be sure to tune in to Frontline. Even if you're at the show, tune in to Frontline. You might catch some interviews or something that happened backstage that you didn't even know about.
Yeah. Or catch yourself in the crowd cheering.
Yeah, that too. So be sure to check out Frontline and check out Wrestle Talk as well. And we just thank each and every one of you, and we look forward to seeing you again. And we will be back 2 weeks from now with the results from Antebellum and what's coming up on the next show. So thank you again.